My grandma kicked me out of house because I'm gay. My name is Maya, and I'm 29 years old. I live alone in what used to be my grandmother's house. Well, one of them. She had 3 properties when she passed away 4 years ago. And through a series of events I still can't quite believe happened, I ended up with all of them, but I'm getting ahead of myself. The doorbell rings again. It's persistent. Desperate even. I'm not expecting anyone. My girlfriend Jennifer is at work, and my friends noted text before showing up. I walk to the front door, coffee mug still in hand, and peek through the peephole. My stomach drops. It's my cousin Rebecca. And behind her, I can see my cousin Michael's car in the driveway. The same Michael and Rebecca who testified against me in court. The same ones who called me slurs at the funeral. The same ones who told the judge I was trying to take advantage of a sick old woman. I haven't seen them in 2 years. I open the door but leave the chain lock on. Just a crack. Enough to see Rebecca's face, which looks nothing like I remember. She's always been polished, put together. Designer bags, perfect hair. That kind of confidence that comes from always having money. Now she looks exhausted. Her hair needs washing. Her clothes are wrinkled. There are dark circles under her eyes that makeup can't quite hide. Maya, she says, and her voice cracks. Please, we need to talk. We have nothing to talk about, I say. Please, she repeats. It's important. It's about family. I almost laugh. Family, that's rich coming from her, but curiosity wins. It always does with me. I close the door, undo the chain, and open it fully. Rebecca practically stumbles inside. Michael follows, and he looks even worse than she does. His suit, the one he probably wore to job interviews, is starting to look shabby. He won't meet my eyes. They stand in my foyer, the one with the chandelier Grandma Rose imported from Italy, and I can see them taking it all in. The restored hardwood floors, the antique furniture I had professionally cleaned, the original artwork on the walls. Nice place, Michael says quietly. It was Grandma's, I reply. Before she wrote me out of her will, remember? Rebecca flinches. Good. Maya, she starts, then stops. Takes a breath. We need your help. I sip my coffee. Wait, we lost everything, Michael says. The business failed. Rebecca's house was foreclosed on 6 months ago. I'm living in my car. We have nowhere else to go, and you came here. I let the statement hang in the air. Your family, Rebecca says, and there are tears in her eyes now. Real ones, not the fake ones she cried in court. You won all of Grandma's money, her properties, everything. We're asking you to help us, just until we get back on our feet. I set my coffee mug down on the entry table. Let me back up and tell you how I got here. 4 years ago, my Grandma Rose was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. She was 83 years old and had been the matriarch of our family for as long as I could remember. After my parents died in a car accident when I was 8, she raised me. Just me and her in this big house, and I loved her more than anything in the world. She knew I was gay. I came out to her when I was 16, terrified she'd kick me out or disown me or any of the horrible things I'd read about online. Instead, she hugged me and said, "Baby girl, I've known since you were 5 years old and insisted on marrying the neighbor girl in a pretend ceremony in the backyard. I love you no matter what." That was Grandma Rose. Progressive, loving, accepting. She met Jennifer, my girlfriend, and adored her. Called her granddaughter-in-law even though we weren't married yet. Made her feel like family. But when Grandma got sick, everything changed. My Aunt Patricia, Rebecca's mom, moved in to help take care of her. Patricia had always been religious, the kind who goes to church 3 times a week and quotes scripture at family dinners. I'd had maybe 4 conversations with her my entire adult life. Within 2 weeks of moving in, Grandma Rose started acting differently toward me. I'd come to visit, and she'd be cold, distant. She stopped asking about Jennifer. When I brought her by, Grandma barely acknowledged her presence. "Is everything okay?" I asked one day, pulling Grandma aside. "I'm just tired, sweetheart," she said, but she wouldn't look at me. 3 months later, Grandma Rose passed away. I held her hand when she died, and she didn't say anything, just squeezed my fingers once and closed her eyes. The funeral was a nightmare. My Aunt Patricia planned it all, and suddenly there were extended family members I'd never met coming up to me with these looks of pity and disgust mixed together. Cousins I'd played with as a kid wouldn't make eye contact. Rebecca cornered me at the reception. "You should be ashamed of yourself," she hissed. "What you put Grandma through in her final months. What are you talking about?" I was genuinely confused. "Your lifestyle, your choices." Mom said Grandma cried herself to sleep every night knowing you were going to hell. I wanted to throw my drink in her face. Instead, I walked away. The will reading was a week later. I sat in the lawyer's office expecting to inherit the house I'd grown up in. Maybe some of Grandma's jewelry, the pieces she'd always said would be mine. She'd told me dozens of times over the years that everything would go to me because I was the one who'd been there, who'd taken care of her before she got sick. The lawyer cleared his throat and read the will. Everything, and I mean everything, went to Patricia, the house, the 2 rental properties Grandma owned, her investment accounts, her life insurance policy, her jewelry, her car, her furniture. The will explicitly stated that I was to receive nothing because I had turned my back on family values and chosen a sinful path that goes against everything this family stands for. I couldn't breathe. The room spun. Those weren't Grandma's words. They couldn't be. When was this will written? I managed to ask. 2 months before Mrs. Henderson passed away, the lawyer said, not unkindly. He looked uncomfortable. 2 months. Right around the time Patricia moved in. I stood up and walked out. I didn't go to my apartment. I drove to the beach and sat in my car and screamed until my throat was raw. Jennifer found me there 3 hours later. I texted her the basics. She held me while I cried and told me we'd figure it out. "This isn't right," she kept saying. "This isn't like her." And she was right. It wasn't. I spent 2 weeks in a fog. Grieving Grandma. Grieving what I thought our relationship was. Questioning everything. Then Jennifer came home with a business card. I talked to my uncle, she said. "He's a lawyer. He wants to meet with you." "I can't afford a lawyer," I said. "He'll work on contingency." "Maya, he thinks you have a case." Her uncle, David Chen, was the estate litigation specialist. I met with him in his office, told him everything. He listened, took notes, asked questions. "Did your grandmother exhibit any signs of cognitive decline?" he asked. I thought about it. "She was confused sometimes. She'd forget conversations we'd had. One time she called me by my mother's name. And your aunt moved in right around the time the behavior changed?" "Yes." He leaned back in his chair. "Maya, I think your grandmother was subjected to undue influence, possibly coercion. We can contest this will, but she signed it," I said. "It's legal. Legal doesn't always mean right, and there are grounds to challenge it. The timing, the complete change in her stated wishes, the fact that she was elderly and ill and under the care of the person who benefited most from the new will. It'll tear the family apart," I said. David looked at me seriously. "It sounds like they already did that." So I filed the contest, and all hell broke loose. Patricia hired a lawyer, a good one, expensive. She filed countersuit lawsuit claiming I was slandering Grandma's name and trying to profit from her death. Rebecca and Michael both gave depositions claiming I'd been distant from Grandma in her final years, that I'd brought my lifestyle around her despite her objections, that I'd made her uncomfortable and upset. They lied. They flat out lied under oath. The case took 18 months. 18 months of depositions, of gathering evidence, of watching my aunt and cousins paint me as some kind of predatory monster who'd corrupted their poor, innocent grandmother. But David was thorough. He found Grandma's old journals, the ones she'd kept for decades. In them, she wrote about how proud she was of me, how much she loved Jennifer, how she wanted us to have the house after she was gone. The last entry before Patricia moved in talked about updating her will to make sure I was taken care of. There were no entries after Patricia arrived. David also found something else. Medical records that Patricia had tried to keep sealed. They showed that in the 2 months before Grandma died, she was on heavy pain medication that could cause confusion and memory issues. The same 2 months the new will was written. He found witnesses too. Grandma's home health aide testified that Patricia had isolated Grandma from visitors, that she'd heard Patricia telling Grandma that I didn't love her anymore, that I was ashamed of her, that I'd moved away and started a new life that didn't include her. All lies. The aide said she tried to tell me once, but Patricia fired her before she could. Finally, David tracked down the lawyer who'd drafted the new will. Under questioning, he admitted that Patricia had been present for the entire meeting, that she'd done most of the talking, that Grandma Rose had seemed confused and kept asking where I was. He said he'd had doubts about her capacity to understand what she was signing, but Patricia had pushed him to proceed. The trial lasted 3 weeks. I had to sit there and listen to my family describe me as manipulative, greedy, immoral. Rebecca cried on the stand talking about how Grandma had confided in her about her disappointment in me. She said she prayed every night that Maya would change, Rebecca testified, that she'd give up her sinful lifestyle and come back to the family. It was such bullshit. Grandma Rose hadn't prayed a day in her life. She used to joke that she was more spiritual than religious and that organized religion made her itch, but I had to sit there and take it. Then it was our turn. David called the home health aide. He entered the journals into evidence. He brought in an expert witness on elder abuse and undue influence. He put me on the stand. Tell me about your grandmother, he said, and I did. I told the court about growing up with her, about the bedtime stories and the Sunday morning pancakes, about how she taught me to drive in her ancient Cadillac and laughed when I hit the mailbox, about coming out to her and her acceptance, about bringing Jennifer home and Grandma immediately planning our future wedding. Did your grandmother ever express disapproval of your relationship? David asked. Never, I said. Not once. Did she ever express religious concerns about your sexuality? No. She told me love was love and that anyone who said differently was selling something. I saw Patricia's lawyer object, but the judge overruled it. The closing arguments took a full day. Patricia's lawyer painted me as an ungrateful grandchild trying to overturn the wishes of a dying woman. David painted Patricia as a manipulator who'd taken advantage of her sick, elderly mother for financial gain. Then we waited. The judge took 2 weeks to make a decision. When the ruling came down, I was at work. I was managing a small bookstore at the time, barely making rent on my tiny apartment. Jennifer had picked up extra shifts at the hospital to help cover legal costs that contingency didn't. David called me himself. Maya, he said, and I could hear the smile in his voice. We won everything. I had to sit down. My manager found me crying in the stockroom and thought someone had died. In a way, someone had. The version of my family I'd been holding on to, the judge's ruling was scathing. He found clear evidence of undue influence and elder abuse. He invalidated the contested will entirely and reverted to Grandma Rose's previous will, the one she'd made 10 years earlier. That will left everything to me, not just the house. All 3 properties, the investment accounts, the life insurance, everything. Patricia had to vacate the house within 30 days. She was also ordered to pay back any funds she'd withdrawn from Grandma's accounts, which totaled over $100,000 she'd spent on estate expenses that looked suspiciously like designer clothes and a new car. The judge also ordered her to pay my legal fees. Rebecca called me screaming. I let it go to voicemail. She said I was disgusting, that I'd stolen from a dead woman, that karma would get me. Michael sent a text, just one line. You've destroyed this family. I blocked them both. Patricia tried to appeal. It was denied. She had to sell her own house to pay back the money and cover the legal fees. I inherited everything on what would have been Grandma Rose's 85th birthday. Walking into that house, the one I'd grown up in, knowing it was really mine felt surreal. Patricia had changed things, repainted, replaced Grandma's furniture with modern pieces, taken down the photos of me. I spent 6 months restoring it. I hired professionals to help me find Grandma's original furniture in storage. I repainted every room back to the colors she'd chosen. I hung up the photos of us. I made it home again. The rental properties provided steady income, enough that I could quit the bookstore and work on something I actually loved. I started a nonprofit helping LGBTQ+ youth who'd been kicked out by their families. Grandma Rose would have loved that. Jennifer moved in with me a year after the trial. We got married in the backyard, the same spot where I'd married the neighbor girl when I was 5. I wished more than anything that Grandma could have been there. I used some of the inheritance to set up a scholarship fund in Grandma's name. Full ride to college for LGBTQ+ kids from religious families. My Aunt Patricia never spoke to me again. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she'd moved to another state, that she'd had some kind of breakdown after the trial. I didn't feel bad for her. Rebecca and Michael disappeared from my life completely. I saw occasional social media posts. Rebecca had started some kind of boutique consulting business. Michael was working in finance. They looked successful, happy. I moved on, built a life, found peace. That was 2 years ago. And now they're standing in my foyer asking for help. Why should I help you? I ask Rebecca now. You testified against me in court. You called me slurs at Grandma's funeral. You tried to take everything from me. We were wrong, Michael says. We know that now. We were young and stupid and we listened to my mom. Don't blame Patricia. I cut him off. You were 25 and 23. Old enough to know better. Old enough to make your own choices. You're right, Rebecca says. You're completely right. We were awful to you. But Maya, we're desperate. Michael is literally living in his car. I've been staying in shelters. We have nothing. And you have 3 properties. I have 3 properties that Grandma Rose wanted me to have, I say. The same properties you tried to keep from me. Please, Michael says. Just let us stay here for a few months. We'll pay rent as soon as we can. We'll do maintenance work. Whatever you need. I look at them both. Really look at them. And I see it. The desperation, the shame, the complete reversal of everything they thought their lives would be. Part of me, a small petty reality part feels satisfied. This is karma. This is justice. But there's another part. The part that remembers being kids together. Playing in this very house while Grandma made lemonade in the kitchen. The part that remembers Michael teaching me to ride a bike. Rebecca braiding my hair before school pictures. Before everything got complicated. Before Patricia poisoned them. Before they chose hate over family. How did you lose everything? I ask. They look at each other. Rebecca speaks first. The consulting business was a front, she says quietly. I was actually helping Mom with something. An investment scheme. It wasn't legal. When it got investigated, I lost everything. The house, my savings, everything went to legal fees and restitution. My eyes widen. Patricia ran a scam? She said it was fine. Rebecca's voice is barely a whisper. She said we deserved to make money after what you'd taken from us. I believed her. And you? I turned to Michael. He runs a hand through his greasy hair. I made some bad investments. Took some risks. I was angry after the trial. Angry that you got everything. I wanted to prove I could be just as successful without family money. Instead, I lost everything I had. My job, my apartment, my savings, everything. And Patricia? I ask. Prison, Michael says flatly. 18 months. She's been out for 3 months now. She lives with her sister in Florida. I take this all in. Process it. Did you know, I ask, when you testified against me? Did you know Patricia had manipulated Grandma? Silence stretches between us. Finally, Rebecca speaks. I suspected, she admits. Mom was always so controlling. And the way she kept you away from Grandma those last few months, it didn't feel right. But I told myself you deserved it for your lifestyle. I was raised to think it was wrong. And when Mom said Grandma was disappointed in you, I wanted to believe it. It made things simpler. Simpler, I repeat. The word tastes bitter. I'm sorry, she says. And now she's really crying. I'm so sorry. What we did was unforgivable. I know that. But I've had 2 years of my life falling apart to think about it, to realize how brainwashed I was. How hateful. I was wrong, Maya. I was completely wrong about everything. Michael nods. Me too. I've had a lot of time sitting in my car at night to think about things. About how I treated you. About how I let Mom turn me into someone I'm not. Someone Grandma would have been ashamed of. I want to stay hard. Want to turn them away. Want to slam the door in their faces and let them figure out their own problems. But I can't. Because despite everything, I hear Grandma's voice in my head. The real Grandma, not the one Patricia created. Baby girl, she used to say. Being hurt by someone doesn't give you permission to hurt them back. The high road is lonely sometimes, but the view is better. I take a deep breath. I'm not letting you live here, I say. Their faces fall. But, I continue, I own a rental property about 20 minutes from here. It's a 2-bedroom apartment. The current tenant just moved out. You can stay there. Rent-free for 3 months while you get back on your feet. They stare at me. I don't understand, Rebecca says. 3 months? I repeat. After that, you pay market rate rent. You keep the place clean. No drugs, no illegal activity, no drama. You get jobs. You get your lives together. And if you miss a single payment after those 3 months, you're out. Deal? Deal, Michael says immediately. Why? Rebecca asks. After everything we did to you, why would you help us? Because Grandma Rose would want me to. I say simply. Not the version Patricia created, the real her. The one who believed in second chances and family and doing the right thing even when it's hard. And because you're right, we were family once. Before all this. Maybe we can't go back to that, but maybe we can move forward to something different. Rebecca starts sobbing. Actually sobbing. Michael isn't far behind. Thank you, Rebecca gasps. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't thank me yet, I say. I'm serious about the rules. One mess up and you're out. I'm doing this once. Just once. They nod frantically. I text my property manager about preparing the apartment. Then I make them coffee while we wait for the keys to be dropped off. We don't talk much. The air is too heavy with everything unsaid. But Michael does ask about Jennifer. How is she? He says. Your wife. Good, I say. We're happy. I'm glad, he says. And he sounds like he means it. I'm sorry I never got to know her. I'm sorry I was such a jerk at the funeral. Yeah, you were. I agree. There's no point in sugarcoating it. If it's okay, Rebecca says hesitantly, maybe sometime we could. I'd like to apologize to her too. In person. Maybe, I say. We'll see. The keys arrive. I hand them over along with the address. There's furniture, I tell them. Basic stuff. Dishes, linens, everything you need. I'll have some groceries delivered tomorrow. You don't have to. Michael starts. I know I don't have to. I interrupt. But I'm going to anyway. They leave, thanking me over and over. I close the door behind them and lean against it. My phone buzzes. It's Jennifer. Hey babe, she says when I answer. How's your day? You won't believe what just happened. I tell her. I explain everything. She listens quietly. Are you okay? She asks when I finish. I don't know. I admit. Part of me feels good about helping them. Part of me feels stupid. Like I'm being taken advantage of again. You're not stupid, Jennifer says firmly. You're kind. There's a difference. And you set boundaries. That's important. I keep thinking about Grandma, I say. About what she'd want me to do. I think you did exactly what she'd want, Jennifer says. You were the bigger person. You helped when you didn't have to, but you also protected yourself. She'd be proud. I feel tears starting. I miss her. I know, baby. I know. We talk for a few more minutes before she has to get back to work. I hang up and walk through the house, touching familiar things. Grandma's china cabinet. The grandfather clock in the hallway. The painting of the ocean she loved so much. This house holds so many memories. Some painful now. Tainted by Patricia's manipulation. But mostly good. Mostly filled with love. I think about the journals David found during the trial. The one entry I haven't mentioned to anyone, not even Jennifer, was from about a year before Grandma got sick. It said, Maya came by today with Jennifer. They looked so happy together. So in love. It reminds me of how I felt with George before he passed. I told Maya she'll inherit everything. Not because she's my only grandchild who stuck around, though she is, but because she's the only one who loves me for me, not for what I have. Patricia only calls when she needs money. Rebecca and Michael barely visit, but Maya comes every Sunday. Brings me flowers. Tells me stories. She doesn't want anything from me except my company. That's real love. Reading that in court in front of everyone nearly broke me, but it also validated everything I felt. Everything I knew. Grandma Rose loved me. The real me. Not despite who I was, but including all of it. Patricia tried to steal that. Tried to rewrite history. Tried to make my love conditional when it never was, but she failed. 3 months pass. Rebecca and Michael keep to their word. They both find jobs. Nothing glamorous. Rebecca works at a department store. Michael does data entry for a logistics company, but they're working. They're trying. I see them occasionally. They stop by to drop off rent checks even though they're not due yet. To show me they're serious, Rebecca asks about the nonprofit. I tell her about it cautiously. She asks if she can volunteer. I say maybe, but she needs to prove herself first. Michael asks about Grandma's journals. If he can read them, I think about saying no, but I give him copies of a few entries, the ones that mention him as a kid, playing in the yard, Grandma teaching him to bake cookies. He reads them standing in my driveway and cries. I forgot, he says. I forgot how much she loved us, how much she loved all of us before Mom got in her head. She never stopped loving you, I tell him, even at the end. She just couldn't see clearly anymore. Jennifer meets them officially 4 months after they moved into the apartment. It's awkward. They apologize to her, stumbling over their words. She's polite but cool. Later, she tells me, I don't trust them yet, but I trust you, and I respect what you're doing. That's enough for me. 6 months after they move in, Rebecca gets promoted. Michael finds a better paying job. They ask if they can sign a proper lease. Start paying full rent. I drop the papers. We meet at my house to sign them. It feels official. Real. I want to say something, Rebecca says after we finish. Not an excuse. Just an explanation. I nod for her to continue. Growing up, Mom was always comparing us to you, she says. You were the good one. The one Grandma loved most. The one who could do no wrong. We resented you for it, even though it wasn't your fault. And when you came out, Mom finally had something to use against you. A way to make Grandma see you as flawed too. But Grandma didn't see me as flawed, I say. No, Rebecca agrees. She didn't. That's what Mom couldn't stand. So she manipulated her, changed her medications, isolated her, kept you away. I didn't realize how bad it was until the trial, until I heard the evidence. And by then I was in too deep. I'd already testified, already committed to the lie. You could have recanted, I point out. You could have told the truth. I know, she says. I was a coward. I was afraid of what it would mean. Afraid of Mom's reaction. Afraid of admitting I was wrong. I chose pride over integrity. Michael nods. Me too, and I'm sorry. I can't say it enough. I'm sorry. I look at them both. These people who were strangers pretending to be family, now trying to find their way back to something real. I forgive you, I say. Rebecca's eyes widen. You do? I do, I confirm. Not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace. And I can't have peace while holding on to hate. Grandma taught me that. We don't hug. We're not there yet. Maybe we never will be, but it's a start. A year after they moved in, I get a call from the prison where Patricia is serving her sentence. She wants to see me. I haven't spoken to her since the trial. Haven't thought about her if I could help it. Why? I ask the woman on the phone. She says she has something to tell you about your grandmother. Something important. I almost hang up. Almost say no, but curiosity wins again. I drive to the prison on a Saturday morning. Jennifer offers to come with me, but I need to do this alone. The visiting room is exactly like in movies. Gray walls, metal tables, guards watching everything. Patricia looks old. She's 62 but could pass for 75. Prison has not been kind to her. She sits down across from me, doesn't smile, doesn't speak. I wait. Thank you for coming, she finally says. I don't respond. I need to tell you something, she continues. About your grandmother. About what happened. I know what happened, I say. You manipulated her. You stole from me. You got caught? Yes, she agrees, but there's more. Something that came out during my trial. Something I need you to know. I lean back, cross my arms. I'm listening. Patricia takes a shaky breath. My lawyer found medical records from when Mom was young. In her 20s. Okay, I say slowly. She had a daughter, Patricia says. Before she married your grandfather, she was 19, unmarried. In those days, that was scandalous. Her parents forced her to give the baby up for adoption. I feel my chest tighten. What? She had a daughter she gave away, Patricia repeats, and she never forgave herself. Never stopped thinking about her. My lawyer found letters she wrote to adoption agencies, trying to find her, trying to make contact. Why are you telling me this? I ask. Because the daughter found her, Patricia says. About 6 years before Mom died, they reunited, had a relationship. My mind is spinning. Grandma had another daughter, a secret daughter. Who was she? I ask. Patricia meets my eyes. Jennifer's mother. The room tilts. What? I can barely speak. Jennifer's mother was Mom's biological daughter, Patricia says, which makes Jennifer Mom's biological granddaughter. And she pauses. Your cousin, I guess. First cousin if you're counting. I can't breathe. Can't think. You're lying, I say. I'm not, Patricia says. My lawyer has the DNA tests, the adoption records, everything. Mom reconnected with her in secret. They had a relationship for years. That's how you met Jennifer, isn't it? Working at that community center? I nod numbly. I had met Jennifer volunteering at an LGBTQ+ youth center. She was a nurse there, providing free health services. We'd started talking, became friends, fell in love. Mom set it up, Patricia says. She arranged for both of you to be there. She wanted you to meet, wanted her granddaughters to know each other, but she never told us, I say. No, Patricia agrees. She was going to. She told me before I moved in. She was planning to tell you both together, after she updated her will to include Jennifer. That's what the lawyer meeting was supposed to be about, adding Jennifer as a beneficiary alongside you. I feel sick, but you stopped her. I did, Patricia admits. I convinced her to wait, told her it was too much to process while she was sick, and then I convinced her to change the will entirely, to cut you out. I told myself I deserved it, that I'd been the one taking care of her all those years, but really I was jealous. Jealous that she loved you and Jennifer more than she ever loved me. Tears are running down my face. Does Jennifer know? I don't know, Patricia says. Her mother might have told her before she passed away. Or maybe not. That's not why I'm telling you this. Then why? I demand. Because I need you to know that Mom's love for you was real, Patricia says. Even when I was manipulating her, even when she was confused and scared, she loved you. She fought me on the will changes, kept asking where you were, kept saying you needed to be taken care of. The day she died, the last thing she said was your name. I'm full on sobbing now. A guard steps forward, but I wave them off. I destroyed that, Patricia continues. I destroyed her final months. I kept you away from her when she needed you most. I stole her last coherent days, and I need you to know I'm sorry. I know it doesn't change anything. I know you'll never forgive me, but I need to say it. I'm sorry, Maya. I'm so sorry. I stand up. I need to leave. Need to process this. Need to talk to Jennifer. One more thing, Patricia calls as I turn to go. I look back. Mom left something for you, hidden. She told me about it before she got really confused. It's in the house, in the library, behind the loose brick in the fireplace. What is it? I ask. Letters, Patricia says, to you and Jennifer, telling you everything, explaining the whole story. She wrote them over the years, one for each of you every birthday, every Christmas. She was saving them, planning to give them to you together when she told you the truth. I walk out without another word. I drive home in a daze. Jennifer is there, working on her laptop in the living room. How did it go? She asks, then sees my face. Maya, what happened? I need to tell you something, I say, and you need to sit down. I tell her everything. The secret daughter, the reunion, the DNA tests, the fact that we're cousins. She goes pale. That's not possible. Patricia wouldn't lie about this, I say. Not now. What would be the point? Jennifer's Jennifer's hands are shaking. My mom never said anything. Maybe she didn't know, I offer. Or maybe she was waiting for the right time. Or maybe she knew and didn't want to tell me I fell in love with my cousin, Jennifer says. And there's an edge of hysteria in her voice. First cousin, I correct. And we didn't know. We couldn't have known. Oh my God, Jennifer says. She stands up, sits down, stands up again. Oh my God, Maya, what does this mean? I don't know, I admit, but Patricia said Grandma left letters for both of us, hidden in the house. We go to the library together. The fireplace is original, built in the 1920s. I've never had a reason to examine it closely, but sure enough, there's a loose brick. It takes us 20 minutes to figure out which one. When we finally pull it out, there's a metal box behind it. Inside are dozens of envelopes, all addressed to me or Jennifer in Grandma's handwriting. We sit on the floor and read them together. The first one is dated 20 years ago, before I even knew Jennifer existed. To my darling granddaughter Maya, it reads, "Today you turned 9 years old. I watched you blow out your candles and make a wish. You wouldn't tell me what you wished for, but I could guess. You wished that your parents were still alive, that things were different. But sweetheart, I need you to know something. Your parents loved you so much, and I love you too. More than I ever thought possible. You are my light, my joy, my second chance at getting it right. I failed with my first daughter. I let my parents pressure me into giving her away. I was young and scared and weak, but I found her again. I found Sarah, and she's wonderful. She has a daughter now too. Her name is Jennifer. One day I hope you two will meet. I hope you'll be friends. I hope you'll know each other as the family you are. But for now, I'm just grateful to have you. Happy birthday, my sweet girl. Love, Grandma." Jennifer is reading a letter addressed to her. Her hands are trembling. Mine says she met my mom when I was 6. She says that she wanted to be part of my life, but my mom wasn't ready. That they agreed to take it slow, to build a relationship first. We read letter after letter, years of them. Grandma documenting our lives separately, always holding on to the hope that someday we'd know the truth. The last letter is dated a week before she died. Her handwriting is shaky but readable. To Maya and Jennifer, it says, "If you're reading this, it means I didn't get to tell you myself. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for a lot of things, but I'm not sorry that you found each other. When I learned you'd met, that you'd fallen in love, I was overjoyed. Yes, you're cousins, but you're also two people who found each other in this big, scary world, who love each other, who make each other happy. And isn't that what matters? I know some people would say it's wrong, but I don't believe that. Love is love, my darlings. And the love between you is real and beautiful and pure. Don't let anyone tell you differently. Not even me being gone should change that. You are my granddaughters, both of you. You are family in every way that matters. And I love you both more than words can say. Live your lives, be happy, take care of each other, and know that wherever I am, I'm watching over you both with joy in my heart. All my love, Grandma Rose." We sit in silence for a long time. We're cousins, Jennifer finally says. Yeah, I agree. First cousins. Yeah. Is that okay? She asks. I don't know, I say honestly. How do you feel about it? She thinks. Weird. Definitely weird. But also, I mean, we didn't know. We weren't raised as cousins. We met as strangers. First cousins can legally marry in California, I offer. I looked it up once, for a completely different reason. But still, she laughs. Actually laughs. Of course you did. The question is, I say slowly, does this change how you feel about me? Jennifer takes my hand. No. Does it change how you feel about me? No, I say. Then nothing else matters, she decides. Grandma was right. Love is love, and I love you. Whether you're my wife or my cousin or both. Both, I say. Definitely both. We kiss, surrounded by decades of letters from a woman who loved us enough to bring us together. A week later, Rebecca and Michael come over for dinner. We've been doing this monthly now, rebuilding what was broken. It's slow going, but it's progress. Over dessert, Jennifer tells them about Patricia's revelation, about the letters, about being Grandma Rose's biological granddaughter. Rebecca's jaw drops. You're kidding. Nope, Jennifer says. Turns out Maya and I are cousins. But you're married, Michael says. Still married, I correct. Nothing changes that. Does it bother you? Rebecca asks carefully. Knowing you're related? Jennifer and I look at each other. We've talked about this extensively over the past week. It's complicated, Jennifer says. But no, not really. We didn't know. We weren't raised as family. And honestly, finding out that Grandma Rose brought us together on purpose makes me love her even more. She sounds like an amazing woman, Michael says quietly. I wish I'd known her better. The real her. Me too, Rebecca agrees. All I have are childhood memories and Mom's twisted version. You should read the letters, I offer. Some of them mention you guys too. Before everything got complicated, they do. We spend the evening passing around letters, laughing and crying at Grandma's words. Listen to this one, Rebecca says. Maya is 7 years old and she just told me she wants to be a dragon when she grows up. Not a dragon trainer. Not someone who studies dragons. An actual dragon. When I pointed out that dragons aren't real, she said that's exactly why she needs to be one. Someone has to be the first. I love this child's logic. We all laugh. Here's one about Michael. I find it. Michael helped me in the garden today. He's so patient with the plants, so gentle. He'll make someone very happy someday. I can tell he has a caretaker's heart. Michael wipes his eyes. I forgot I used to help her garden. You did, I confirm. You were actually really good at it. The evening ends with all of us on better footing. Not perfect. Probably never perfect, but better. As they're leaving, Rebecca hugs me. It's the first time since before Grandma died. Thank you, she says, for giving us a second chance, for being better than we deserved. Thank you for taking it, I reply. 2 years later, I get a letter from Patricia. She's being released early for good behavior. She writes that she's moving to Arizona to be near her sister, that she understands if I never want to see her again, that she just wanted to let me know. She ends with, I hope you and Jennifer are happy. I hope Rebecca and Michael are doing well. I hope you've all found peace. I'm still working on finding mine. Thank you for reading this. I don't deserve your attention, but I'm grateful for it anyway. I write back. Just 2 lines. We're all doing okay. I hope you find what you're looking for. I don't forgive her. Not really, but I don't carry the hate anymore either. Life is too short for that. Jennifer and I are sitting in the backyard on a Saturday morning when she brings up something we've been dancing around for months. I want to have a baby, she says. I look at her. We've talked about this before, always theoretically. Never seriously? Okay, I say. Okay? She sounds surprised. Okay, I repeat. Let's have a baby. But the cousin thing, she starts. We'll adopt, I say, or use a donor. There are options. Her face lights up. Really? Really? I confirm. Grandma would want us to continue the family, to fill this house with love and noise and life. We start the process the next month. It takes a year of paperwork, home visits, interviews, but finally we get the call. A baby girl, 3 months old. Parents' rights terminated. She needs a home. We bring her home on what would have been Grandma Rose's 90th birthday. We name her Rose. Rebecca and Michael are the first ones we tell. They come over to meet her, bearing gifts and tears. She's perfect, Rebecca says, holding tiny Rose carefully. She looks like you, Michael tells me. Same eyes. She's ours, Jennifer says simply. And that's all that matters. Rose grows up in the house I grew up in. The house Grandma Rose filled with love. The house that almost got taken away but found its way back to where it belonged. She knows the story. All of it. The good and the bad. The betrayal and the forgiveness. The love that survived everything. On her 5th birthday, we take her to Grandma Rose's grave for the first time. Your great-grandma would have loved you, I tell her. She would have spoiled you rotten. I know, Rose says confidently. Because you do, Jennifer laughs. She's got you there. We picnic in the cemetery. It sounds strange, but it feels right. We tell Rose stories about Grandma. The real stories. The true ones. Rebecca and Michael join us. They're doing well now. Rebecca has her own consulting business, legitimate this time. Michael is engaged to a wonderful man named David. They've both come so far. To Grandma Rose, Rebecca says, raising her soda can. To Grandma Rose, we echo. Later, after everyone leaves, Jennifer and I sit on the porch swing. The same one Grandma used to sit on while I played in the yard. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if Patricia had succeeded? Jennifer asks. Sometimes, I admit. But then I remember we still would have found each other. Maybe not as cousins. Maybe not connected to Grandma. But we would have found each other anyway. You think so? She asks. I know so, I say. Some things are meant to be. Rose runs through the yard chasing fireflies. Her laughter fills the evening air. This is what Grandma wanted, Jennifer says. This right here, family, love, home. Yeah, I agree. This is exactly what she wanted. And somehow, despite everything that tried to tear it apart, we got there. We got home.